Yep. Got to unmute and turn the video on, Shane. All right. So I'm super excited for this session. Been getting ready to hear this for a while. Shane, co-founder at Stargaze blockchain and Cosmos ecosystem, and they recently, I think a lot of you know, launched the dot stars in their blockchain. Um, and so I want to get the most time from Shane. So I'll let him. I think you have some slides you want to share, Shane, and
I
you're all
do.
set. You got everything ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then after there will be a panel as well. He'll be on with Angry Mouse and Chango. So, but first he's going to share kind of the experiences and stories of launching dot stars. And there was a little bit of we chatted. I really want to hear the whole story, and it's a fresh one in your because you just recently did it. And really, congrats on the launch. I mean, it seems like it's a really successful domain system in your community. So thank you, Shane. I
Thank you.
will hide myself unless you need me, and then I'll pop back at the end for some if there's some Q&A.
All right, great. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
All right, folks, I'll get started. I'm going to talk about Stargaze and dot stars. And all right, let's go. Okay, so let's start with what is Stargaze. So Stargaze is an NFT-focused app chain in the Cosmos ecosystem. Before Stargaze, there weren't really NFTs in Cosmos. There were a little bit in Terra, but then after the aftermath of Terra, there really wasn't any kind of NFT ecosystem in Cosmos. And the way Stargaze kind of came about was we were actually building something that was more like a decentralized Twitter. And while building it, we realized that the native content type is NFTs, and there's no NFTs in Cosmos yet. So we kind of had to build that infrastructure first. So that's kind of how Stargaze got started. We started off by working on a marketplace. And while working on the marketplace, we realized that there's no way to launch projects, right? A lot of creators came up to us and said that they wanted a launchpad as well. So then we kind of scrapped the marketplace idea and started working on launchpad. 2 days from now, it would be a year since launchpad launched. There's something like over 1,000 projects now. It's permissionless to launch, but we do feature projects every Friday at stargaze.zone. Some of you may have heard of Bad Kids. It's probably the most kind of popular project on Stargaze. A lot of the folks in the Cosmos ecosystem have them as their profile characters. And then we launched Marketplace in May of last year. Coming up on a year of launch. Then recently we launched a name service. And we have more kind of NFT-based protocols launching soon. We're starting to integrate a little bit with DeFi. So we have a NFT AMM that's coming up that's called Infinity Swap. And we have native NFT staking that's coming up too. In a lot of, on Ethereum, especially in other ecosystems, you kind of have fake NFT staking where you earn yield in some kind of token, but it's not actually it's not proof of stake staking. You're not securing a network, right? So the type of staking, NFT staking that Stargaze is going to do is actually going to secure the network. All right. So dot stars has quickly become the top TLD domain on Handshake, and let's kind of before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about a history of the name services in Cosmos. So one of the first to launch was actually called Starname, not to be confused with Stargaze names. And it didn't really get much adoption. It was very early, and I believe name services really have to be they need to be tied in with some kind of utility, some kind of other use case for them to really take off. For example, ENS didn't really take off until NFTs kind of were a thing in Ethereum. And then a lot of the kind of collectors, started using it in their Twitter bios and so forth, because it's kind of an easy way to. A lot of NFT collectors like to show off their collections and so forth. So having a name is having an ENS name in that case was, kind of useful for them to kind of make it very easy to find. And then Stargaze names kind of came later, and it has a lot of utility in the marketplace with Stargaze. The support for IBC coming, and there's also ICNS, which is hosted on Osmosis, and they have a little bit of a different take. It's based on Twitter, so you kind of create your IBC name based on signing in with Twitter. All right, let's talk about Stargaze names. Okay, so existing name services, right? One of their drawbacks is that the renewal price isn't market based. Usually, they have some kind of like price based on the number of characters, and then the renewal price is also based on a number of characters, and you can buy the name, and you squat on it forever, and 10 years or 20 years. It is kind of this inefficient, kind of speculator driven kind of system, and most of it just kind of like runs on one chain. There's no kind of IBC or cross chain support. So Stargaze Names kind of attempts to fix this problem by creating more of a market based system. It has a renewal fee that is market based that happens every year. So here I'm just going to give you just a little kind of example of how it works. So let's say you want to buy a name called Cedo. You will go and mint it, and then after you mint it, it gets listed on the marketplace. It automatically gets listed immediately on the marketplace. Then someone can come in and place a bid on it. So here we have one person coming in and placing a bid. There could be multiple people coming in and placing bids. And then after 1 year, you as the owner of this name, can accept the bid at any time. And then when a year comes up for when you have to pay the renewal fee, if you want to keep the name, you pay 0.5% of the highest bid. So this is market based, right? It's based on the demand for your name. And of course, if you don't want to renew it, you can accept the highest bid. So this is kind of the way it works, and we believe it kind of creates more of a market-based kind of fair system. And instead of giving a demo, I'm actually just going to show some screenshots of how this all works. So this is the interface. So obviously all this is on chain. This is a one version of the interface. Anyone can build an interface on top of this if they want to. It's on chain. It's open source. So if you want to mint a new name, you go to stargaze.zone and you can go type in your name and you can mint it. Right now, the interface is very minimal and bare bones. You can see the latest names. You can see the highest offers. And this is kind of built. The UI and UX for this is kind of a bit more similar to a normal kind of domain service. A lot of the ones on other networks are kind of like built into NFT marketplaces, and they like generate an image for the name, which you don't really need for something that's just text, right? So eventually this will adapt and grow, but the current interface is kind of very, very minimal. Stargaze Names is used all throughout Stargaze. So here's an example from the marketplace. You can see the owner. You can see their names listed here. It creates much more kind of like a social experience. Names may not make sense if it's a DeFi protocol, right? Do you really care about the name of the counterparty that you're trading against, inside an AMM pool or something like that, right? But in an NFT marketplace, it totally makes sense. You can look at the provenance. You can see who used to own something. It's NFT marketplaces are really kind of the social networks of Web3. That's kind of the way I see it. So here's an example. When you're on a specific item, you can see the creator name. So one of the main the driving reason for making this name service is because our creators, our users, kept asking us for it. Like they wanted to know the identity of the artist, right? They didn't want to get rug pulled by an artist claiming that they're someone else. So privacy advocates may not like this. Obviously, if you this is optional, right? You don't have to get a name. You don't have to associate a name with an address. If you're concerned about privacy, you can obviously have a separate address that is not tied to a name. But in this case, a lot of our users wanted to know the identity of the creators. So that's one of the reasons for building this. And you can see the offers. You can see the names of some of the people that are placing bids. Here's the interface. If you want, after you've minted a name, if you want to, transfer it, if you want to edit it, and you can associate your name with your current wallet address. You can also associate with a contract address. So, for example, if you're an NFT creator, you can associate a name with the collection address. And if you're a DAO, you can associate your DAO contract address, your treasury address with a name, and then people can easily send funds to your treasury, right? You can also, this is also fun, right? You can associate an image with your name. And in this case, it's taking an NFT from Stargaze and making it your profile. And we have also built a Twitter verification oracle. So if you want to associate your .stars name, and you want to associate it with your Twitter profile in a provable way, you can go and associate your Twitter handle. It creates a message that is posted to Twitter, and then we have an oracle that listens to all these tweets, and then it verifies the name and posts a transaction to the blockchain. And so this is probably the section many of you are interested in. Is you can associate Handshake name servers with your name, and so then you can create a .stars page, and if you have something like Fingertip installed, you can go and navigate to your page. So Nick, who's going to join me in the next panel, made this amazing tool on Arweave, where you can go in and you can create the name service records that will be associated with the name. So here you can set the DNS, you can create the record, and then after creating the record, you can go back and add it to the section here where you add the name services, and then boom, you automatically have you have a website that points to your .stars. Okay, so one issue we ran into while building this is conflicts with namespaces. So ICNS, which is the name service that is built by the Osmosis team, launched a few days after Stargaze names, and there was a little bit of a kind of a name service war, a little bit in Cosmos for a while. And the reason for this is in Cosmos, we use, Bech32 addresses. So it's possible for a name service to resolve names for other chains as well, because you can easily transform a Bech32 address from that represents one chain to another chain that has a different prefix, right? So, for example, all the key derivation paths in Cosmos is most of the chains generally use key type 118, and if you use that, every name service can easily derive the address for any other chain. So it's very possible that 10 name services in Cosmos, all resolve addresses for each other, and you get this kind of huge conflict, because Alice on the name Alice on Osmosis may not be the same Alice that's on Stargaze, right? So this is kind of the an issue we're running into in Cosmos. So I introduced this thing called FQN, fully qualified names, and the way a fully qualified name will work is that you break the name into three components. You have three components in the name, and it's very similar to email. So this was designed purposely to look a lot like email. You can have one of the components is the name component, the other component is the chain component, and then you have the name service component as well. So this has all the parts that you need to be able to uniquely, identify a name, and have it resolve and work with any chain in Cosmos, and also this is also backwards compatible with ENS and other name services too, because the middle part is optional, right? So if your name is alice.eth, you can you can skip the middle part and just be alice.eth. So this is something that I proposed and trying to get. So what's next, right? Right now, trying to get buy-in from the rest of the Cosmos ecosystem for FQNs. I already have a draft spec, but want to try and get an official spec out for this, and then work on implementation, getting it integrated into the wallets and the tools for the wallets. Onboard more chains to use it, and then we're also working on what we call outposts, and outposts are basically these proxies for the name marketplace on other chains. So if you're another chain and you want to use Stargaze names, you'll be able to use it over IBC. So an outpost is essentially like a contract, a proxy contract. In this case, it's a CosmWasm contract that lives on another chain, and it acts like a local version of the marketplace on that chain, even though it's actually running on Stargaze. So this this is something exciting that we're working on, and that's all I had for today. If you want to learn more about Stargaze names and Stargaze, you can follow us on Twitter at Stargaze Zone. There's also a Discord. If you go to that link, you can easily find the Discord link, and you can also follow me at SHAN3V on Twitter. Thank you all, and I'm totally open to answering some questions. Yeah, so the bids. So the question is, are the bids locked, and for how long? And yeah, when you do place a bid, the bid is locked um, um, until either you remove the bid, or until that year has passed. How to avoid abusive bidding, attempt to force a name holder to pay more. Yeah, so this is just so this is opportunity cost, right? So if you bid a really high amount, because the bid is locked in, you are is opportunity cost. You could be earning yield on that amount of money. You could be using it on DeFi and so forth. So there's opportunity cost for trying to abuse the bidding.
Okay, yeah, I mean there is going to be a panel after this. Everyone, Nick's in the audience. I don't know if you can see his chat, Shane, but yeah, I mean Angry Mouse or Nick will be in the panel. Also, Chango, she's already in backstage. So, but I guess Shane, if you have time to answer some of these, but yeah, Nick is also an expert on this, which was involved, right? I mean, he'll
Yep.
introduce himself. I think a lot of people know him in the community. But yeah, if you want to answer some more of these, we have about 5-ish minutes. We'll also have a break before the panel. But I don't know
Sure.
if you want to
Yeah.
answer, or you could
Yeah.
also say we
Sure.
could answer the panel if you think they're better for the panel.
Okay. Well, I can answer this one question, and we can go back to the panel. Is there an option to mint on iOS? Yes, there is. If you use the Kepler, if you download the Kepler app for iOS, there is. You can go to Stargaze there, and there's a way. Then you can go to the names tab and mint the names there.
Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm not sure how familiar people. I know there's also some Stargaze people coming to see your talk, but I think a lot of people in Handshake also are active in. Do you have any data about that, like the relationship or the? I mean, it's probably hard to track because it's a different ecosystem, but I feel like there's a
Yeah,
lot.
I'm sure we can get some data on it. I mean, all I know is that dot stars is the top TLD.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if
Yeah,
you're
so I
aware
think that's
of
pretty exciting.
The Shake. It's like a newsletter in Handshake. Zach is the editor, founder. He's in the audience too. But yeah, we track the stats, and dot stars is the top one. I think there's even a leaderboard page. I'm not sure. You should know that just so you can see your own stats. But yeah,
Yeah, I know. I wish I had it so I can
I'm
share
gonna
it, but
see if I can,
that's
or
very
if
exciting.
Zach or somebody could share the link. I know it's on this site, but I could pull it up. I just don't want to break my computer, freeze something right now. But there's a link, a leaderboard. If there it is. Yeah, Zach is you should also talk to Zach. He's great. Um, he just shared the link, so it's the shake.xyz/slds, and I will share my screen really quickly. Although I'm scared I'll break something. But do you see my tab?
Yeah, wow. It has three times more
Well, no,
registrations
this is
than the
total
second one.
SLDs, right? And then
Mhm.
this is you or your project. Dot
Wow, that's
stars.
amazing.
Yeah, so it's almost 10K, but it's down recently in the 7 days.
All right,
But
we're gonna work on that. We can start
yeah, so
on
you could
some
use
kind of
this maybe as
incentive.
a KPI or something. But yeah, the Shake Zach, he's also here. He's chatting right now. You should. But yeah, you can see others like this is Impervious will share later. They do Impervious, which is on Ethereum, um, and there's Records, which is actually Zach, and then there's Namebase. I think you're aware of, and
Yep.
Gateway. Well, this isn't actually I don't think technically Gateway, but yeah, these are different. Yeah, Dot C has been around. He'll be sharing later too. Clay.
Yeah.
Um,
And
so this
Nick
is
should
a
talk
really
about
important.
the link service that he built, and I think that is driving a lot of adoption and usage of dot stars.
One thing I noticed too, I'm a user, is you can put your name dot stars dot, is it name? What's the TLD on TNS? You can kind of get a little profile page right off the bat. It's like your
Oh,
I think it's
yeah, the stars page.
page, the
Yeah,
stars page.
stars
Yeah,
dot
that's a
page.
cool one. It's kind of like HNS
That's super
dot
cool.
two, but I think I think Nick's like, wait, I want to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Nick
I
will be
figured I'll let him talk about it.
So anything you want to add to this session before? Of course, you'll have your panel. You'll be on the panel too, and Django's here. Is there anything you'd like to add of the last couple minutes, Shane?
I just want to say I really like what HNS is doing, is solving a real problem, and is going to the base layer of how all the stuff works. And I am just glad that you're putting this on and making more people aware of Handshake.
Okay, yeah, my pleasure. And also, I guess I also say in the community, but I think we all say thank you for respecting the Handshake system and getting the .stars on Handshake. I know I don't want to get so personal, but I think a lot of other blockchain projects seem to just write it off, say out, or don't even know about it maybe, but they're like, I don't need to get the Handshake one. I just launch anything I want on my blockchain, right? Because he could have launched .stars without getting the Handshake one technically. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, Zach says the same, which is the shake. So yeah, we thank you for that, and we're here to support you. So if there's others in the community that can help, that's what we're here for. So I think we'll wrap up, take a little bit of break. People can network. There's booths. There's also some, I believe Namebase has actually people at their booth, so you can jump in. I know people have questions for Namebase. They're a sponsor and they have a booth, so it might be hard for people to find. But when we click this, there'll be a little bit of a break. And the leaderboard. Sorry, Shane. I guess you can take a little rest, and then I'll see you in the next session. I'll just make some announcements. 1 second. All right. So the leaderboard. We had. Oh, and the .x booth is open too. Thank you, Anne. So again, we just recognize our sponsors. This year we have booths. I think previous years we didn't have booths. They're virtual booths, but there are real people there. And you can jump into that booth. There's people from that team. I'm actually the .x booth is there. That's nice. I might go talk to .x. But that's what we're trying to do here. So we're going to have how much time do we get for the break, Ann? I think it's like 10 minutes or so. And then Chango's ready already. Chango's already ready. I think a lot of you know Chango. Angry Mouse you've seen in chat. And Shane will come back for a panel about, Stargaze and Cosmos and Handshake and lots of fun stuff, which I think is going to be an excellent panel. There's also a huge lineup. You can click the view schedule. So much more to go for today and also tomorrow. I think I'm going to let it wrap, get to a 10-minute break, jump into some booths, get some networking, make some deals, and I'll see you in the next session. Thank you all.